Hello again, and welcome to another Build the Ghostbusters Ecto-1. This is the beginning of issue 15 with stage 51. We're coming back from that hiatus caused by lack of parts. I can only do so much if I don't have parts. I do have a mod kit coming up in the near future too, so that will help us roll things out a little better, but stay tuned for that. In the meantime, we are on, as I said, stage 51, part 1 of issue 15, and we are going to be kitting out the top of the rear workstation. So this is that thing we started that has the jump seat, and the whole top of this is going to get kitted out today. There's a bunch of tubing. You know, that stuff's always kind of hit or miss. We'll see how that goes. But we're attaching to this. We have a few different things. We kind of have these major silver components that are the plastic we're putting on. This is supposedly a Sono channel ASA-20. I have no idea what that means. This is just a flat base for it. Screws, zip ties. And then we have 3 different lengths of... They're not tubing. I'm kind of impressed this time. I thought these were going to be tubes, and I was prepared to be irritated. These are... I don't know if you can see the detail on that. These actually have a corrugated surface, and they are solid. These are rubber flex bits. They're supposed to be conduit, I'm sure. But in 3 lengths, we have a short, a very slightly longer, and then a substantially longer, as in these are doubled up, and doubled up they're still the length of the long ones, of the medium ones. So I am thrilled to see that those are not tubing. I was looking at that in the instructions and thinking it was going to be tubing, and then I was going to fish wires through it, and the whole nightmare of doing the like the spark cables, but it's not. So that's a nice surprise. We'll get started then putting the other pieces together. So we have this flat platform, and that Sono ASA-20 is going to go on it. Now there's a pin on this, which I think makes it impossible to mislocate. You know, I say that. Okay, so yeah. So you got a side with 2 holes and a side with 3 holes. The pin is going on the side with the 3 holes, which is also, so on the front of this, there's one end that's got that notch out of it, not on the other. That's where the pin is. And that goes on the 3 holes. And it goes so that one of those holes is still available on the end. The pin is in the middle one, and the screw will go through the inside one, and then that all lines up. This is going to be held together with 2 BP screws. All the screws in today's kit are BP screws, though it looks like we're using quite a few of them. 9 or 11, somewhere in there. Let's see. If you haven't already seen it, just a quick promo. I mean, I don't make any money. It's not like an ad, but the Ghostbusters Afterlife is now out on disc and presumably streaming, rental, whatever. So if you haven't seen it and you want to, you can check that out. I enjoyed it. Most of my friends liked it. I got one friend who kind of just went, oh, well, they're just doing Ghostbusters again. And it's like, well, you know, I think it's different enough, but, you know, your mileage may vary. That's fine. You like what you like. Let them like what they like. That's you know, philosophically, the smart way to do it. Of course, there's also the idea that nothing is any good if other people like it. I'm a big proponent of that, too. You know, as a joke, but it's something I say. I feel like a smaller screwdriver would work better. Okay. So this is the Sono ASA-20 put together, so you can see it's on the flat base. It's got a couple screws. This is going to go on top of our workstation over on kind of the opposite end from the chair. And again, on the bottom of this plate, there's the 2 lugs for the screws and a pin, and that all locates pretty simply. Looks like maybe in the original design... Oh no, that's a screw hole. Okay, I was going to say, maybe in the original design there was an intent for another pin, but that's actually where the screw's going to go. I get it. So this is going to be held on with another couple of screws. Yeah, the big holes on the top of the workstation are for the lugs that the other screws went into. The little hole is for the pin, and then you got the 2 screw hole size for screws. So we have that mounted on the top of the workstation like that. And again, just for visual, though, again, the pins will stop you from doing it any other way. That's the side the notch goes on, kind of the outside. So now we're going to take the other big silver piece, and that's going to go on, it's going to land behind the back seat, which is why it has that kind of notch in it. And there are pins, again, to hold it in place, so you can see it kind of pivots on the one pin. You can turn it. So it's like that. Filling in the space. This is held on by 6 BP screws. So there were 10 total in this. I said 9 or 11, so I, was wrong twice, but I bookended the answer. Now these are black screws going into silver plastic. I'm wondering if it would be worth it to come back and hit these with like silver Sharpie, or if the black will look good by itself. So some of these screws are really obvious. The 3 in the centers, those were really obvious. The other ones, there's slightly different sizes of screw. So I'm kind of eyeballing it, but it looks like it's the little hole here and the 2 smaller corner holes on the other side. And the slightly larger holes must be for something passing through. This does feel a lot like just Battleship Greeble kind of stuff. Like, I'm sure it's all in the car, but I'm gonna have to go back and like freeze frame on certain scenes to really get a sense of that. You do see a lot more of the car in the interior of the car in Afterlife, but I couldn't tell you. There's some modifications, obviously, that were only done for that movie, but I couldn't tell you for sure how much of that vehicle was like the original layout. It looks cool, I like it, and it's neat because you see them kind of rebuild and repair it a little bit. Not a lot, a little bit. And it's, for me, having built this, it's kind of a neat, like, hey, I know that engine, I know those parts. So, okay. So we have all the screws in holding that on top. Now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take all 6 of these little conduit pieces and we are going to route them. So we start with the shortest ones. And it's a little tough to get an exact sense of where these go. Yeah, okay, so that's what some of these larger holes are. So the short ones are going to go in these 2 here and back to a couple back here. This one, the silver, and I think the outer one here. I'm kind of trying to eyeball from the other views. Not the outer one, because that's one of the last ones. The 3rd one here is the answer I'm going with. So that one is going to go... it's hard to tell. Anyway. That pushes in. Oh, these are like a way better... Oh, this is so much better than the tubing. It like pushes in, and it stays. It's not going over a pin, it's going in an opening. Oh, that's so much better. So I'm going to go from this one... to the further back of these others. It really does feel like you get a positive lock when these go in. That's nice. And again, I think these are going to be ones that are like over long for what they're supposed to fit to. Now, when you really get them in, they actually pop through the other side. So you'll know when it's there. So that first one, I thought I had it, and I didn't quite. I am having trouble getting this first one to lock in now that I know they're supposed to be positive lock. It's not super positive, it's just mostly positive. Also seems like you get more of a lock when you're going through the silver and then into the black plastic, because there's like a lip in between them that it catches in. Okay, so that was a bit of a pain. So the next length ones are going to go from these two holes here to the two behind the one I just put in, right back here. Okay, that was a pain, but I got those first four on now. So the last two don't secure at both ends. They go on the inside holes here. They're going to loop around, and then they're going to come out back here in the front of the cabinet because they're going to hook up something later. Which is why they're so much longer. And then we're going to kind of secure this whole bundle together with zip ties. The picture shows it all laying down neatly. Obviously, it's not going to do that, at least initially. Okay, so those, not that I can particularly get these kinks out of the bends, that's unfortunate. Those are going to route with these other cables. Well, I need to get this one more secure. So these are going to route around this end up here. And I want all these cables pulled together and zip tied back behind here. To that end, they've given me a couple little zip ties. And again, some of these cables do not want to stay secured. So I still like these better than the tubing, but they're not that much better. Okay, so that's where we're ending up with the zip ties, because again, they're kind of showing this all laying down here, but we're not really getting there, at least today, if nothing else secures these. So, that is it for the build. I'm going to snip these off real quick, but otherwise that is it. So, the next video you should see is a Michael Lane Mod Kit carpeting for the rear kind of bay area of the Ecto-1, followed up shortly after that by installing all that stuff, and we'll go on from there. We do these Ghostbusters Ecto-1 builds on Wednesdays. DeLorean builds go out on Saturdays. Have a good one, guys.